Hi there, my name is Christian Briones, and today I will be talking about my philosophy on music education. So, when it comes to philosophy, or my philosophy on music education, I strongly believe in a more praxiless approach to it. I believe music is a very beautiful concept, and it is part of human nature because the human body is capable of making music, through vocal cords, through our lungs, where we breathe and we blow air into man-made instruments, and even just with our hands as well, with clapping and, certain motions, we just make music. And that's when, string instruments come to play, where we use our fingers to strum. So I believe just the body is capable of making music, and that is part of the reason why it's a human nature, because the body is capable of doing it and the brain responds to music. So, and even David Eliot, who was a philosopher with the praxiless insight, he also describes music as a human activity in 1990. So I believe in order to successfully teach students and help them grow as musicians, you need to engage with them in all aspects of music. And you need to help them gain listening skills so they can maintain information and growth. Focusing on an aesthetic nature of just performing and the beauty of making music just isn't enough to grow. Music needs to be more of a technical teaching and have more action behind it to better the students. These students, they need a hands-on approach because you have to work with them. And David Eliot in the 1990s even suggests that achieving the aims of music education depends on developing musicianship and listenership skills of all music students through engaging students in performing and listening, improvising and listening, composing and listening, arranging and listening, conducting and listening to recordings and live performances. Making music successfully requires skill. Just like any other activity, like sports and whatnot, you need skills to be successful, because these specific skills separate yourself from the average and inexperienced. I believe in this because when I was a senior in high school, I took part in a musical theater production, and my school district made a big deal about it. They promoted it heavily. And the thing with that musical theater program is all of like the lead roles, they were experienced actors. They were in the theater program and they were successful in the theater program. When it came to singing and making music, they could sing, but they sang it in a very unhealthy way and in a very amateur way as well. So the music making skills were not there. And the worst part about this musical theater production was all of the staff and the teachers, they were theater teachers. They were not music educators, and they did not know how to make music professionally. So they couldn't teach these kids how to properly make music and the skills, and they were able to perform music in a very aesthetic way, and it was okay. The performance wasn't terrible, but these kids, they didn't know how to properly make music, and it just simply wasn't enough to have I guess you could say a successful performance, because there was a lot of issues in the musical. There was pitch issues, there's just a lot of hearing and listening issues. So that is why I believe, you need a more praxiless approach to it, because it teaches the wrongs and it teaches just the technical aspect of music, and it allows you to grow from that. And then even Christopher Small in the 1990s, who was also another praxiless philosopher, stated that music is actually a set of relationships between thought and action. I believe this is true because music is through thought and action. You think of a melody, you think of the notes, And when you hear it, you think about it, and then you make and you do that action to compose the piece. And according to Wayne Bauman, also in the 1990s, the values of music and music education are always socially and politically modulated and are relative to the ways they serve human living. I believe this statement is also very true because music has to do with one's opinion and way of living. A student has to grow an understanding and a mental connection to a song's meaning to perform it at best. Music is something that needs to be understood emotionally because we are filled with life, and songs are also meant to be lively and expressive, and that is what we need to teach these children that are going into music. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all have a great day.